guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Hola, bom dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast with the continuing evolution of the studio, which may account for some funny business going on with either sound or vision. But let's see how we get on today. How are you? More to the point. How are you doing? And yes, it's definitely an hola, bom dia, alegria. And definitely Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast on this, the Christmas Eve of 2024. We've got a lovely advent calendar window to open for you. It's a video, one of those beautiful videos from Andy Klein, which I look forward to sharing with you. And we've got a late entry on the show this morning as we basically, what would be a chill out Tuesday. We'll just take it easy as we make our way towards the big day tomorrow. Actually, I might read my Christmas address from the Portugal resident actually for you, wishing you a safe, sane and soulful Christmas and New Year. I think that would actually be a nice thing to share with you today. Let's find out how you're doing so far. A bit sleepy, are we, in the chat? Coach Turner's in this morning. Good to see you, Coach, with a final God Squad tip of the day for the year, the last one of 2024. And like with all things to do with the show, a slight remix, all the things we know and love and are familiar with, nothing too shocking or difficult. But we will be just sexing things up a bit, zhooshing things up a bit, remixing things a little bit and taking the best bits forward and adding a few new bits as well. How did you get on yesterday, James? Oh, this looks very laggy this morning, doesn't it? This particular camera and tech setup. Let's see how we get on anyway. It's all everything's an experiment, isn't it? It's all a learning experience, all a learning curve. Bom dia, alegria, Gumpers. I've added the alegria there, James. Feliz terça e véspera de Natal a todos. The véspera is the Christmas Eve, of course. Como estão? Chill out Tuesday, Christmas Eve, and some people say Portuguese is a tough language to learn. That's true, isn't it? Try saying that quickly. Chill out Tuesday, Christmas Eve. Yeah, there's lots of strange vowel and consonant sounds, and I was considering, given that the Portuguese Christmas dinner is the consoada, which means consonant. What is the derivation, the etymology of consonant? Is that going with a sound, going against a sound, a consonant? I wonder. Maybe now's not the time for etymology. Now's the time for the true meaning and spirit of Christmas, which we tried to get to the bottom of fairly unsuccessfully for about 30 or 40 minutes yesterday, me and the geezer, Tony Bryant, the Portuguese, and myself with our Munson and the Geezer show on a Tuesday, normally on a Tuesday evening. We did it on a Monday because of Christmas Eve. Eventually we got there. I've made a little clip of it on my Facebook timeline, should you be somebody who has access to that. Hold on a minute, let me just, I've got all sorts going on. I've got two windows open at the moment. I'm experimenting behind the scenes as well. Let me just make sure you're not hearing some crazy stuff going on behind the scenes, just in front of the scenes, in fact. They do say you learn from your mistakes. Can I stop learning? No, I don't think you can. I don't think that's how it works, Coach. JP is in. Hi, Carl. Feliz Natal. JP in Porto. Good morning to you. You see, I'm never going to stop making mistakes. Why should you, Coach Turner? Hi, Carl. Feliz Natal. JP in Porto there. And Mario Santana is here as well. Bon dia, Carl. Merry Christmas. Good to see you too. And we'll do more of this. I think we'll do a quick show tomorrow on Christmas Day. I love the idea of the Christmas show being the plain exchange and simply the exchange of Christmas greetings. So we will exchange Christmas greetings for as long as people want to do that. Probably from 10 o'clock tomorrow, right? Jump on at 10 and do some Christmas greetings on the actual Christmas day itself. Bon dia to you, Marcus, as well. Bill and Marcus, I have a confession to make. What I thought I was playing as your video yesterday, turns out that was I think that was Vigo again. And what threw me is your beautiful video is about 45 seconds long. And so was the one I played, but it wasn't yours. So I'll be playing your beautiful Agada. Actually, I might do that quite soon because I've got a different kind of Christmas tree man joining me at about 9:15 this morning. Yeah, that's Chase, who was talking to us from Happy Hectares a little while ago. And he wanted to talk to us again before the year was out. What better way than to celebrate Christmas with him? And if you have not organized a Christmas present, you can do that through Chase. You can buy somebody a tree and get them a tree planted here in Portugal, just in case there's somebody you were meant to get a present for and you haven't done it yet or couldn't think what to get them. Maybe you could buy them a nice oak tree and have it planted here in Portugal. So let me make sure then. I'm gonna go back to yesterday, and yeah, there we go. There's Bill. There's the 44-second video, which what I'll tell you, I'll explain to you what's going on behind the scenes. I am downloading. I've got 2 computers in this current room that I'm in. And I've got 2 versions of the show playing because on the new computer, I haven't loaded up WhatsApp. Anyway, you probably don't need to know all of that. I am going to pop the video onto the media assets, as they're called, which I what do I normally call that? I've forgotten what I call it now. Anyway, I'll load that up so that we can watch that now. There we go. The Agada Christmas video from Bill and Marcus. Bom dia a todos. A slow beginning today after sharing a Portuguese friend's wedding yesterday. Yes, I need to find out from that friend if I can share the good news. What delightful fun and a joy to be part of the family after 8 to 9 hours. Much festivity and, cliffhanger. We've got more to come there. Yeah, let me play this video then, and we'll come back and we'll talk to Chase Patel soon. And then we'll just keep hanging out this morning until around 10, exchanging greetings. Let us know where you are in your Christmas process. Is everything wrapped and under the tree, or is nothing bought yet, not even the tree? Multiple courses of food. We departed after 8 to 9 hours, and there was still more food to come. That's how they roll in Portugal with a wedding. Make sure everybody is fed and cannot move, basically. And still the food kept coming after 8 or 9 hours. Right. Okay, let me play what I think might be the right video now. Thank you so much, Bill and Marcus, for this. Enjoy this, folks. Or is it a quiet one? I think it is. Bill, Marcus, is this meant to be a quiet video? I wonder. It's very beautiful anyway, visually. Sing among yourselves at the moment. Oh, the weather outside is frightful. Actually, it looks quite nice in Agada there, the town of the overhead umbrellas and many other beautiful Christmas lights, and the biggest Christmas Santa in the world as well, and the smallest, of course, as well, which is one of the quiz questions that Philomena shared with us last Thursday night. That is up on the Expats Portugal YouTube channel at the moment. Thank you very much. So I feel like I've put things right now. There is the video. I've got a feeling that will have had some music on it, but we weren't hearing it right there, were we? Maybe it's something to do with this new laptop that I'm using here. Right. Let's go to your comments in the chat. And we'll do the God Squad tip of the day now, the last one of the year. Bom dia, campus. Feliz Vespera de Natal. Vespera is a great word, isn't it? Hope you all have a wonderful Portuguese celebration day. We're out for dinner at our local tonight, which should be fun. That does sound lovely. Is that your local pub there where you'll see all the locals, all those people who have their special seat and maybe even a tankard behind the bar? God Squad tip of the day. The second thing that you don't need to do to stay healthy is walk 10,000 steps. Thank goodness, Bob and Viv. Especially Viv, me and Viv, are very glad to hear the tip that you don't have to do, the exercise you don't have to do yesterday. Here's more exercise you don't have to do to stay healthy. That's not to say that if you love walking 10,000 steps a day, you shouldn't continue, by the way. I don't think this is knocking the fact that people enjoy doing many steps, but I think a lot of people have this 10,000 step threshold as one of those things that you absolutely must do, or you're a terrible failure in the fitness department. This was only ever a random target. I thought that, like an urban myth. And the latest research shows that 5,000 to 6,000 steps is perfectly adequate, which gives you a chance also while you're out walking to practice saying the word research. More important is the quality of the walking. There you go. Always quality over quantity, right? Or a balance. In other words, the speed, generally the faster the better. A couple of brisk 15-minute walks are better for you than an hour's wandering. Or, as I've suggested on several occasions, add some fast bursts into a walk. Yeah, and yes, Carl, you can use the word fartlek. Fartlek, everybody. That is the great fartlek, the high-intensity intermittent training, aka fartlek. But do warn anyone you're out walking with that you're suddenly going to burst into bursts. When I get to the next lamppost, I'm going to put my foot down. Let them know that. Otherwise, they'll think you're really weird. Maybe they already do. Chill out Tuesday then. Bon dia Gumpers from James. How'd you get on at the dentist yesterday? Can you say research after yesterday? Bon dia todos from Pete. Morning, Pete. Bom dia a todos, o Natal português já começou. Saudações a todos. Lovely. Keep that Portuguese going. We're going to do much véspera. Thank you very much. All right, James, I know accents are your friend. I do know that intellectually, even though I don't deliver it physically, actually, very often, as it turns out. But thank goodness I've got you there. Not véspera. 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 Good morning to you, James. Bon dia to you as well, Pam. How's everything going in your household? Are you there? Is everything wrapped and under the tree? Or have you still yet to buy a tree and put the tree up? Boas festas a todos. Okay, don't forget, Christmas greeting show tomorrow if you want to jump on quickly at 10 o'clock tomorrow. I think we'll do that. We're not going to be on the beach after all, but 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll exchange some greetings for as long as people want to do that. I've got a few greetings to share from the co-host and Gumper presentation team, so I'll be sharing those tomorrow at around 10 and my own greeting to you. What I'll also do is read I made my Christmas message an article in the Portugal Resident because I can. So I shall share that with you. Maybe that's going to be a sandwich, a little bit of, I don't know, maybe Chase will be here before I start on that. First thing I've got to do is bring it onto the screen. The other go-to I have, of course, is the Portugal news, but we don't want to do that today, do we? We don't want to talk about that sort of thing. But I will, wishing you a safe, sane, and soulful new year. Okay, found it. I've got that now. And I just need to make sure that I've got Chase joining me, actually, and that he got the memo. Okay, leaving the studio on the other computer. That might help over at this end. And I believe we've got Chase. Oh, thank you very much for that bit of cake from yesterday. And thank you for eating it for me, Owen. Okay, yes, all right. Chase is lined up and ready to join us soon. A late Christmas gift item and a true Christmas tree, you might say as well. Coach, walking with Gus gives many opportunities for fast and slow walking. That's the point, isn't it? You get yourself a dog and you'll be able to have the occasional run that you weren't bargaining on. Does he often run off? And why does he do that? Does he get a scent? My dog Jimmy is a little bit like that. He is a hunting dog, which was never explained to me. When it was being suggested. Do you remember the story of Jimmy Chu? A guy who I was working with at the time at Aveiro University said, your kids would love a puppy, wouldn't they? I've got some puppies. Why don't you come round and get a puppy? Which I did. And he said, oh, yeah, the mother's very very gentle, kind dog. And she's no trouble at all. I don't even need to put her on a lead. She just walks by my side. Something I'd love a dog like that. I'd love a dog that's always by my side and very well behaved. Oh, good morning to you, T-Duck. Talking about dogs here, and I think you were talking to me about dogs as well over on WhatsApp. I see out of the corner of my eye. Well, it turns out Jimmy Chu is nothing like his mother. He is a Podengo hunting dog, and he just loves to be running around all day chasing scents, which doesn't make him the sort of dog that will stay by your side or be particularly well behaved. He's absolutely great. He's got a lovely character. But he would rather be living permanently outdoors, chasing every scent that came into his nostrils. Me and Tony are celebrating our 10th Christmas in Portugal. That's amazing. That's a really lovely achievement, isn't it? A great milestone. So well done, you two. And here's to anybody celebrating their first Christmas in Portugal, which of course is a milestone. And I would say a mixed thing, because in the first years of being in the country and with your emigration project, you're looking for a lot of upside. So when the downsides come, when it feels a little bit lonely or difficult, or you suddenly miss something, that can hit even harder. So watch out for that. And all the best. Well done to you, and lots of love to you. All the best for your first Christmas in Portugal, if that's what you are doing this year, 2024. Yes, scent, sight, and even pointing hound leash required so far. Yes, a bit like Jimmy then, Bob. And trust dogs, says T-Duck. They always know who to stay. Oh, if there is that, isn't there? Would make any of us feel a little bit awkward if a dog runs up to us and then just runs away immediately on giving us a little bit of a sniff. Right. As soon as Chase brings the mug to his mouth to take a big sip of tea, I bring him onto the screen. Have you swallowed that yet, Chase? All right. Bring you on. Morning to you, Chase. How are you?
Perfect timing. Bom dia, senhor.
Bom dia to you. Tudo bem?
Sim, bom.
Excellent. Right. You are, as it says on the screen there, Director of Happy Hectares. We had a lovely chat with you talking about your reforestation project. And it occurred to me, and I've been saying to everybody here before your arrival, Chase, that if they haven't got a Christmas present for somebody yet, this is a great gift. They could do this online today, couldn't they? They don't even have to go down to the petrol station and look around in the sad shelves of the gas station to buy someone a Christmas present. They could do it online with you. And by the way, buy a true Christmas tree. These are a great investment and a great, well, in the future and in somebody you love, right?
Well, yeah, you didn't leave me much to talk about, Carl, but you got it right there. I mean, this is a gift you can give to someone else and to Mother Nature at the same time. And we have several different options. We have, a few price points for people as well to give back to a friend and a loved one and Mother Nature, who we all love the most.
Yeah, right. And so if anybody didn't catch you first time round, can you give us your kind of elevator pitch for Happy Hectares and what you're doing here in Portugal? Yeah,
so I started Happy Hectares, and is this a good time to do that presentation I talked about, or we go into that?
Absolutely, later? Yeah, do it, mate. There should be a present button that you can click on at your end, and then all I need to do is give you the go ahead at this end, and away we go.
Okay, let's see. Got this. Is it showing there yet?
It is. Let me bring it onto the stage right now. There you go. Your Happy Hectares are right there.
Awesome. So then we
all right. While you're finding that, Zahir Jato is also here. Good luck. And just an update on the root canal surgery. It's complete. And apparently there's a ceremony in 6 months. Oh, very good. They tell me I need to come back to receive my crown. It's already been done. But I quite like the sound of King James. Very good. You might have your own town soon, Jamestown. I was finding out, I was researching Americans, European Americans, or the Americans who have their origins in Europe. And I was finding out all about Jamestown. I thought of you yesterday, James Holly. Anyway, sorry, back to you, Chase. There we go. It does what it says on the screen.
Yeah, so this is actually right here in Serta, Pedrado Pequeno, the Zezere River there. Some beautiful cork trees, kind of can show what is possible out here. But our mission is simple. We're just focused on creating lands that benefit nature and people. We want a win-win-win, basically, to where it's, we as a company win, our clients win, but the earth, Mother Nature wins as well.
Yeah.
And it's simple, doing developing of lands with native fruit-bearing trees, just managing the already existing forest out here, sustainably harvesting those. And then we're really just managing and doing lands for the future, do the fire prevention, make the house in the right spot, basically create everything that makes it safe.
Excellent.
Some simple techniques. Anyone that's not familiar with agroforestry, it's kind of a new age thing mixed with all the oldest, most traditional things. It's agriculture, forestry mixed together with what works for that place. And so for here in Portugal, we're focused on the native species, cork, oak, madronio. These are the ones that really grow well here. They thrive and they don't mess up anything else like maybe other trees would.
Yes. Sorry to interrupt you there. I was trying to tell somebody the other day the species that you're planting. And so your main focus is on the oaks and the madronias, right?
Yeah. The cork oak, it's kind of hard to say, but there's the oak, which is more like the white oak we see the most of the time. And then the cork oak we're all familiar with from the wine. And then madronio is going to be the one you're not familiar with yet, the most delicious liqueur you can find, really natural sweet taste to it.
Very good. The tree strawberry as well. It has that name, doesn't it, in other parts of the world as well?
Yeah, I was confused. I thought it was a strawberry tree because of the translation apps when we first got here. I was just like, oh, what's madroño? Strawberry. Oh, I didn't know strawberries were trees.
Yes, yes.
You
It can be
learn
quite a
something
steep
new.
curve. Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
But yeah, this is just kind of all of the stuff we're focused on. We want to do things right. We're focused on getting rid of the invasive species. And so with, eucalypts and even some pine, they do get in the way of other things. So we cut those. We use that for firewood as well. So there's no waste. We're not just leaving anything on the ground there. And then the fire prevention is just basically getting all that cleaning done, like in that bottom right photo there. We do a great job of making sure that your property's safe.
Wonderful.
Here's just those services we offer, kind of the main ones we're focused on now. The reforestation is what we mentioned at the beginning, the tree planting, and then even animal support that goes into the agroforestry part. Simple stuff there. And then here's kind of the benefits of agroforestry as well. I don't want to make this a lecture at university, but I think it's good information for people to have just so you know why we're doing it.
Yeah, no, not a problem.
Yeah, this is the basics. And then, basically here's our current project. This is our biggest one. We have 10 hectares of land that we're reclaiming right along the river there. And so far we've been able to plant 2,000 trees. Our goal is 5,000 to make it a complete kind of rewild forest. And then this is where what we mentioned again in the beginning, our sponsor, a tree program, comes in. This is our certificate, shows the GPS coordinates, the tree type, and then it's signed by all of us founders that are putting this together.
Absolutely wonderful. Great. I'm sorry, I may have missed it. How long have you been doing this?
This is our second year in Portugal, but the team that we partnered up with has been doing this for over 10 years. And that's why this land out in Sobral even has been kind of in the family for a while, and it's been being transitioned this whole time.
Yes. Sorry, I clearly interrupted you there, but
no, I talk a lot when I get into this stuff, so please do.
Yeah, it's a proper passion, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't something I, knew a ton about. I knew, what I could in America, but then coming here in Portugal, then obviously living in these central regions where every day you're seeing, the stuff happening, it really made an impact in me. And it's, lightened the fire in me.
Yes, so to speak, yes.
In a way. So yeah, and then we do have some other fun projects. We're doing agricultural, tourism and rural tourism where we're rebuilding some of the ruins, the classic foreigner move in Portugal, and just getting rid of all that eucalypts.
Yeah, fantastic. And how's it actually going? Because you are up against quite a force, aren't you? Like a force of nature and a force of business as well, aren't you? That there is a big interest behind the forests, and I think in many ways it's quite a for the smaller landowner, it's quite a convenient and easy way to make some money. So there's a lot in favor on the commercial / social side for people to be growing eucalyptus. And of course, there's a massive downside, which we see every now and then, of course, as well, and not just from the fires, but sort of the monocultural aspect of that. How is it being received? And what do you feel like you're up against with all of that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when we started this, I thought it would be kind of a, tree planting company. We just go and we're just, having fun planting trees every day. But it quickly, like you see on Instagram,
Yes, exactly. Just like lovely music, sunny days every day, and you've got a mattock over your shoulder and a nice little, probably like a children's fairy tale book, right, with a little picnic in a cloth knotted over on your mattock. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Is that not what your days are like, Chase?
No, maybe after the first week, once I finally got told what the truth is, it's just a lot more, talking to people, convincing people, and then really just cutting a lot of these, invasive species. They're, basically in our way. There's, no point in planting a tree that we know won't thrive and survive well with the eucalypts or other variations around. So
yes.
Right now, in a weird way, a lot of our work looks just like empty land. We're working with cometas to basically go and cut all these invasive species, harvest them, even if you can, and then start from scratch. And so sometimes, you're just looking at a bare mountainside and seeing the potential.
Yeah. And yes, I think you I'm sure are aware, and this is probably another message you have to convey to people. This is a long term thing, isn't it? As nice as it will be to buy and plant a tree, that's not an immediate or overnight solution. This is a long, slow project and transformation, reforestation of a landscape that once was, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I know for at least 10 years the eucalyptus has been kind of running rampant. And
Yeah.
so now we know, we're going to spend at least 10 years just to kind of get back to where it was maybe before that. And then you're looking at 25 years until a cork tree is fully mature, and then different elements like that. Where this is, hundreds of years, we're thinking this is for us as founders, we're thinking this is a generational thing, and a legacy that we would really leave to the future generations.
How lovely. Yeah. And I think I may have mentioned it when you were here last time, but one of my favorite books, films is The Man Who Planted Trees, which is, it could be a description of you, of course. And you get a sense from that, how you have to be mentally about this, that it is a long-term matter. It's not for the faint-hearted. And it is, yeah, as you say, I think that's the key word. It's generational, isn't it? It's about I guess, pointing the endeavor in a new direction. And just keep working in that new direction until things are transformed. However, that's not to put anybody off buying and planting a tree right now, because that's an important part of it. If there aren't any trees planted, none of that is going to happen. So tell us about the ways, as we can see on here. How can people help? How can they get involved? How can they plant a tree?
Yeah, so we opened up an Etsy store just this month, and we have the whole campaign is our Teas for Trees. And so every T-shirt and even every product that we have for sale on the Etsy store is going to plant one tree. And so that's just right off the bat. We aren't trying to make any profit off this Etsy store. We're just really trying to get trees planted with it. And we do have the Sponsor a Tree program, which is great, that you saw on the last slide. We just do know that, people like something more physically. So this is kind of a way for the physical, article there. And then of course, Facebook always helps if we can get the word out. If you just like our page, follow us, that helps us show up in the algorithms and all that good stuff more.
Yes. Yeah. So let's dwell a little longer, if we may, on the products that people can buy. They're not going to get those in time for Christmas, are they? But they could certainly plant a tree today, or have you do that for them. What are the products then? What are the tangible products that people can buy, and then they'll get a tree planted for each time they buy one of them?
Yeah, so I don't think you can see my screen on the Etsy store, but if you,
I can't. I can. Well, I'm seeing you on the left-hand column. The Teas for Trees campaign there, and mention of T-shirts, coffee mugs. I think I need to get one of those. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I'm not making a big push. Like I said, we just launched, but we have, I think, 3 T-shirt variations: the Keep Calm, Plant Trees, the nod to the British famous saying. And then we do have these kind of organic products, this bird feeder that you see there. We have simple pine cones for, fire starters. We have pine seeds if you're looking to plant something of your own. And then, the coffee mugs, even some cell phone cases on there. And so kind of just a little bit of assortment of things that we thought people might want or need.
That's really lovely. Okay. And another thing that's occurred to me, I mean, you manage the planting, don't you? You're talking about massive projects and reforestation projects in particular areas. If somebody wanted to do this more locally to themselves, is that a possibility, or does it really need to be managed in a way that you are overseeing it in your part of the country?
No, I think that's kind of what we want to do too. We're doing the testing for everyone. We don't want to, hold these secrets. And so basically, the agroforestry stuff is we're working on education as well, because I'm not the agroforestry expert either in this. I'm 2-3 years into learning. Marco Garcia is my Portuguese expert, forest expert, agriculture expert. And so I've been trying to get him to get all of his knowledge and his brain out onto paper so we can share it with everyone. But for me, it's simple. Like, the first step is always to look at diversity. I think anything in the world, we need more than one thing in it. And so if you're looking at that, we do offer consultations, but then even if you have lands over maybe probably about 2 hectares at this point is what we could facilitate. 2 to 100 hectare projects is in our range.
Wow, that's amazing. And hopes for 2025 then. It sounds like with any business or project or endeavor, you've had to flex and pivot, I think is the jargon that's used inside such circles. Things have changed obviously for you from being that happy hectare guy who goes out and plants trees every day. You've had to get involved politically, I think socially, and change your game plan to make this happen. And it sounds like you're as inspired now as you ever were, which is a wonderful thing. What are your plans for 2025? What would you like to see happen, and how can we help with that?
So 2025, we're really hoping to do a rural tourism thing, a boost, basically, whether it's through these education platforms, a workshop or so. If there's anyone out there that either has land that would be great for an event or a venue, or is willing to teach something that would be great at an event or venue, we'd love to hear from you. That's our big push to get the word out there next year.
Okay, so tell us more about that. What you want to do events? Is that the idea? And welcome.
Yeah, that's actually my background is in events in the U.S. And so I used to go and put on either a concert or for a company, kombucha brand, different things like that.
Wow.
And so I'd really love to get back into it here in Portugal. And we're looking at doing whether it's something simple when we shear our sheep, we can invite people out to learn if we find the right group, find the right place. Things like that I think it's worth building a community for and just sharing all this knowledge.
We've got a couple of Welshmen in this community. I'd definitely be up for a sheep shearing event, that's for sure. So anything like outdoorsy, where people can get into the outdoor vibe and connect with you in a tree planting way, you'd be up for hearing from people.
Yeah. Agroforestry is great because it really encompasses a lot of the things outdoors, because you're either, walking by trees or you're walking by animals or a field. And so any of that kind of pertains to what we want to do.
Yeah, it sounds like Mel might be reaching out to you. Sounds amazing, says Mel. Planting trees that will die or never grow isn't. That's very seasonal. And Scroogey, Pete's got a few hectares. He might actually be in touch with you there. It is getting rid of eucalyptus that is the issue, and I think you actually said that, didn't you, Chase? Planting trees near eucalyptus that are not uprooted is as pointless as flushing your money away. Now, this grumpy sod. I mean, you'll have heard this before, right? I'm sure that's not news to you, and that is probably your biggest challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, we do a lot of different work when we finally do get rid of the eucalypts, and whether it's with animals or natural time, we make sure that it's completely killed. And these are lands that are also through years, again, that we're talking of transformation. The Sobral land that we're working on now has been in a family's for 3 generations now, and they've been on this project since then. So those concerns have been around, and the eucalypts is known how to deal with now, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what's the alternative? You either just don't do anything and the eucalyptus just takes over. And of course, there would have been some gnarly old Portuguese guy many generations ago, wouldn't there, who said, I wouldn't plant those if I was you, because they may well take over. And everyone said, shush, stop being so grumpy. And now look, I think, there is a great deal of truth in that. And we don't have any other choice, do we, except to kind of physically replant other species and do our best to take out the ones that we don't want, right? Isn't that just the basic bottom line of it all?
Yeah, I think we're just trying to do our best. And the saying of planting a tree, the best time was 25 years ago or tomorrow or today, basically.
Yes.
So we're just doing what we can, and for our knowledge as well, the eucalypts is a tough one to work with, but the trees again that we're choosing are the ones that will survive the best, if any will, right there, in this land they're made for it, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a much better track record, I think, haven't they, of life here in this country. That's fantastic. Sheep shearing. I used to shear sheep many years ago, says Hugh. My sheep always ended up a bit pink. I think there are now products, male grooming products, moisturizers and such that you could apply if you really wanted to, Hugh, there. And we've got a bit of transport news. I'll come back to that after we've said goodbye to Chase and wished him a happy Christmas and a very prosperous new year. I have land that I'm wanting to develop via Agrofloresta. Would love to talk. So there you go. Mel will be in touch, if not Peter, this morning. So that's how to get in touch. People can go ahead and go plant a tree at happyhectares.pt. There's the detail for getting in touch directly with you, Chase, right? If people do want to talk more personally, specifically about a project, that's the way to do it on those numbers there.
Yep. Yeah. Either the numbers, website, email. Well, either Etsy message. I'll hear you. I get all the emails. So.
Yeah, very good. Okay. What animals get rid of eucalyptus? You simply need the machinery to get rid of them. What, I don't know what that was an answer to or a question about, but goats presumably are quite good at getting rid of eucalyptus, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. The actual controversial one, and we might get some interesting comments, is pigs are actually the best at getting rid of eucalypts.
And they are very traditional in this country, are they not?
They are, and yeah, even they're part of an ecosystem, and that's what
Right.
agroforestry is, and it's we're not trying to keep things a plantation or a farm anymore. We want it to be a wild forest or an actual full system.
Mate, why would that be in any way controversial? Is that like a non-vegan approach? Is that what you're?
No, I think the pigs have just become more of a nuisance out here, from what I've heard from the countrymen.
Oh, the wild boar.
Yeah, those are the best ones to get rid of the eucalypts, though, and so it's a tough one where they might mess up your farm, but they also keep your farm from burning if there's no fires around.
Yes. Okay. Very interesting. As a former homeschooler, perhaps some of these groups, those groups, the homeschooling groups, or even the horticulture elementary public schools might be interested. There's one of those elementary schools up here. Hopefully, others. I'm guessing you've reached out to a few schools, haven't you, Chase?
I haven't yet. I'm
Oh,
a
okay.
bad
That's what reached it.
learner. Yeah, I'm always nervous with the Portuguese. I haven't gotten that far yet, and like I said, this last year and a half, we changed gears to where we weren't just planting trees anymore. We had to really develop that baseline of figuring out how to solve the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's something to do perhaps for 2025, or
Perfect.
something that other people can help you with, because I think you need help, don't you, with a project of this scale? You can't do it all alone. So if
Yeah.
somebody can connect you to the educational system in any part of the country, I'm sure that could be a useful and rich thing. Anything else we can do to help you? Anything else you want to tell us before you go, my friend?
No, I hope everyone has a great holiday season, great Christmas and New Year. We're excited to keep going and reforest Portugal as much as we can.
Very good, Chase. All right. I wish you all the best with the project and look forward to talking to you again in the new year. We've got the website that I'll stick into the chat as well. And we shall see if anybody wants to buy a real Christmas tree from you, as I'm
Yeah,
renaming it this morning. Okay. Have a great Christmas, mate. All the best to you.
thank
Take care.
you.
And ciao, ciao. Bye for now. All right, buddy. There he goes. Chase Patel. And quite the hostile reception there, Peter. You could reach out and give a little bit of a help if you're being the you don't want to do it like that. Maybe you could reach out and help Chase a little bit there. You've got the details if you want to do so. There are very helpful people in both Castelo Branco and Fundão. There you go. So thank you for that, Peter, as well. By way of a little bit of a balance there. Jacqueline was in as well. Season's greetings to each and everyone. We'll do more of this tomorrow, of course. Thank you to each and everyone who has supported us at the association, the MVC Caldas da Rainha, throughout 2024, and may we continue on to 2025. Absolutely, all power to your elbows there, Jacqueline, and the great work that you do. Merry Christmas, Bush Festive. Happy holidays there. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. And that bit of travel news, Pam, yeah, is this the baggage handlers or is this other people as well? Oh, no, this is positive travel news here. I think there might be a bit of a baggage handling strike at the airports this year. Also, actually, refuse collection. The bin men, I think, are on strike in the capital as well. So be careful with that. Transport news from January. Public transport within the Este region will be free. What? With the impasse. That doesn't work too well in translation, does it? The impasse travel pass. It sounds like you can't go anywhere. We've reached an impasse with the impasse. But anyway, we get the idea there. For people who live or work in the region, interregional transport will be capped at €40 a month. That's great. Well done. Thank you very much for that, Pam. And other regions are expected to follow suit. And I noticed at my local station at San Martin de Porto, they are revamping the station. They've done a little bit of work. They've done loads of work at Caldas da Rainha and put in a new bridge over the railway line. So lots of work at Caldas da Rainha, lots of lovely improvements there, and a bit of building work has begun locally for me at San Martin de Porto. I remember this bloke, Lee McGrady. Yes, Lee McGrady, head gardener. Good morning from home. No work tomorrow. It's your 2 days off, isn't it, Lee? Or maybe is it just the 1 day off, Christmas Day for you? Good to see you, mate. Thank you for being here. How are you? Merry Christmas, people. More of these tomorrow. If you want to do the greeting actually on the Christmas Day, join me from 10 o'clock. And we'll just be on the screen for as long as people want to exchange greetings with each other. Here's another one. Bon dia, happy Tuesday, Christmas Eve. Wishing you all a wonderful holiday season. Tony Time, the man in the minion. Now, he's putting a brave face on there because he's faced his challenges this Christmas, has Antonio. People keep asking for the perfect guy for Christmas. Some people do anyway, which means that Antonio, wherever he goes, keeps getting kidnapped. So could you please stop wishing for or asking Santa for the perfect guy? It's really getting in the way of Antonio's excellent lifestyle, being constantly kidnapped by Santa. Right, let's read out. Let me share with you. By way of giving you a little bit of a heads up on what's happening at Good Morning Portugal for the new year, I'd like to share with you my current Portugal resident piece, and I believe the edition that was published on the 19th. Yes, last Thursday is the last one of the year, and they'll be back publishing again. The wheels of printing will be turning again in January. This was my last one then for the year. This is wishing you a safe, sane, and soulful new year, which I shall annotate for you now. And still to come, Andy's lovely Christmas movie, The Vuga Line, and his trip to Agadir. A lot of mentions of Agadir on the show this morning. And Andy Klein's lovely film of being on the Vuga Line to Agadir. And well, one of his wonderful little movies, basically, which will be our window 24 on our meme-based advent calendar. So jumping out of the memes and into a lovely film gifted to us, made especially for us by Andy. So thanks, Andy. I'm working today and Friday, but tomorrow we'll be eating, drinking, and watching The Wizard of Oz. So that's it. Everything's planned out. Very good. Today and Friday. I've lost track of the days. It's Tuesday today, isn't it? So well done, Pam. Sounds like you've got a nice Christmas ahead of you there. Can you just confirm that the eucalyptus are poisonous to all pigs? Pete is still banging on about that. Let's get some, it's Christmas. Should we get some goodwill and teamwork going here? But certainly if you do discover that eucalyptus are poisonous to all pigs, I will pass that on to Chase. Along with my apologies, perhaps, this morning for the somewhat hostile reception, Peter. Feliz Natal a todos from Luisa Antunes. Good morning to you. Lovely to see you here. Keep happy hectares. Obrigada a todos. Merry Christmas for everyone. Thanks, Luisa Antunes, tuned in for happy hectares there, I think. And Merry Christmas, mate, for Lee as well, I think. Why have someone on that has a Peter? I don't know what it is you need to do to get into the Christmas spirit, but go and do it and then come back in a little while. Right, let me just share this with you. Wishing you a safe, sane, and soulful new year. Making our way slowly to Christmas and poised on the edge of a new year. Some among us are waiting for the big fella to deliver the goods and make everything okay. And some are expecting Santa too. See what I did there? It's at this point I realized that's for Hugh. It's at this point I realized my dear editor doesn't allow emojis to drive home labored and contrived jokes like this. So I'll move swiftly on, as people often say when covering their tracks and embarrassment. The amount of times you hear that, right? As well as, can you hear me at the back? Is this thing on? And moving swiftly on. Talking of 2025, which we could call the We'll See year, with so many promises, conflicts, and uncertainties hanging in the air and forming the future. I'd like to talk today about my day job. Yes, the Good Morning Portugal show and community. I'm looking forward to another year of making something of a living, eking out a humble living, Governor. Thank you very much for the Christmas box. Celebrating life in this special country on a daily basis. That's what we do here, in case you hadn't noticed, with a whole host of other co-hosts who tend to share my affection and delight. I have some bold plans to put into action as we hit the ground running and take to the airways in January, about which I would appreciate your opinions and counsel. That means you as well watching this morning. So let me know what you think about this. Apart from Peter, no, you can, Pete. Nicely, wild and friendly. Do you remember what Tamakatan was saying? In case you didn't know, Good Morning Portugal Endeavour began as a podcast soon after our arrival in 2017, which takes me back to some earlier comments here in the chat here. I think it was Coach Turner, wasn't it, who pointed out that James even has his own Bible, or his own version of the Bible. Oh, and some excellent dentistry-based dad jokes from Pete as well. Let me do those before I forget. Yes, you have your own Bible, James, to which James replied, I'm old enough to have done that translation. Very good. I'm not the old guy in Europe for nothing, he says. And yes, talking of James's trip to the dentist, as we suddenly are, as a little bit of a deviation from the article I'm trying to read to you. James, when I saw my dentist, he won a small reward. He has a little plaque. There you go. That's more like it, Pete. There's the Peter we know and love. He went on to tell me before becoming a dentist, he used to be in the army. He was a drill sergeant. Oh, dear. Where is the groan sound effect? Right. Okay. Back to the article then. Oh, Jackie, I was going to call you Jackie Christmas there. Jackie's in with a happy Christmas Eve for everybody. Late arrival due to bakery queues. Oh, I see. Okay. Right. James, it is toxic to pigs. They die if they eat it. I think they understand what toxic means there. Right. Okay. Back to the article then. So we began in 2017, all that time ago, when my wife Lucia and I, along with our then two youngest children, we've had another one here, of course, were finding our feet and sharing our experiences with anyone who would listen. As the 2020 pandemic lockdown cast its shadow over our lives here, I thought a daily live stream. This is the origin of the Good Morning Portugal show, of course. I thought a daily live stream for English language speakers might be a useful lifeline, which proved to be true. And it's not stopped since, as it turns out. Nearly 5 years later, it's my continued pleasure to serve expats and foreigners living in Portugal, as well as those looking to move here, with a daily dose of upbeat and positive information and guests. What began as a state of emergency focal point evolved into a how-to show for would-be migrants to Portugal, and in 2025 will transform again. Next year, what I've always thought of as a breakfast show will have even more snap, crackle, and pop as we start earlier at 8 o'clock. Yes, we're going to be starting at 8 in the morning. Now, that obviously will, it might be a bit of a Marmite choice. For some people, it's like, oh, no, I'm not awake by then. For other people, it's going to be like, yes, where I get up at 6, and it's a long time until 9 o'clock when the Good Morning Portugal show starts. And I like to get out and do a few errands at 9 o'clock. So we're going to try it. We're going to try with an 8 o'clock start, 8 till 9, live and direct from my kitchen to yours, which I'm testing at the moment, in case you hadn't noticed, with Mrs. M walking about in the background, with the best of a full English fun and a continental smorgasbord of useful lifestyle information shared by special guests, new and old. For the new year, and yes, one of possible alien disclosure, deepening geopolitical hoo-ha, and prolonged economic uncertainty, I promise you now that I'll be focusing mainly on the joys of living in Portugal and the lighter side of life in general, with the hope of putting a smile on viewers and listeners' faces wherever they live in the world. An hour of anyone's time has always been a big ask for anyone other than the Gunpert regulars. Yes, you know who you are, and thank you very much. If you're here for an hour most mornings, I really appreciate that. But I know, again, that's not everyone's cup of tea. So with time preciousness in mind, I'll be dedicating the first 20 minutes of each morning edition to a quick blast of news, weather, some Portuguese language support, there you go, and a smattering of health and well-being, picking up the baton of, I'm going to be grabbing your baton, Coach Turner, and we'll be broadening the God Squad tip of the day, taking what you do, of course, as long as you want to give it to us, and adding to that other little bits of health and well-being input as well. This, the Portugal Primer, if you like, working title, can be consumed alone. So that'll be a little bit of a 20-minute blast to start the day. And you may like to stick around then. And of course, we'll continue. You can either watch the live stream, listen to the podcast, or watch it later on replay on YouTube. And if you want to stay on after the Portugal Primer, which I hope you will, of course, I'll have two guests of the morning as the optional extras who you can also enjoy if you hang out with us, or again, on replay if you wish. So 3, possibly 2 distinct segments of the show then from January. The Portugal Primer with the news, weather, the Portuguese language and culture bit, and the health and well-being. And then our 2 guest slots, and you're used to that, having 2 guests on the show. Now, some of those will cross over. Some of them can't bear to be in the same room as each other. So only joking. We all get on just fine on screen and off. But sometimes it's better to have, a distinct section, 20 minutes, and then another 20 minutes. But others, a bit like, for example, Carl Hyde and Veronica, together for the last 20 minutes of the show. Let me just say here as well, the GMP crew are an extraordinary bunch of people, too numerous and encyclopedic in capability to catalogue here, who cover everything from the expat experience, Portuguese real estate, homesteading and growing your own food and drink, and pretty much every other aspect of Portuguese life from a foreigner's perspective, with a growing number of Portuguese presenters in there too. On that note, if you feel we are missing a useful angle or vital person from our lineup, just let me know and I'll do my best to include them. So, if you think there's anyone missing from the lineup, just send me a line. Drop me a line and I will. Don't send me a line. Please. That could get all of us in a lot of trouble. Drop me a line, and I will do my best to include them on the show. So is it going to be 8 till 9 or 8 till 10? 8 till 9, Pam. 3 lots of 20 minutes, roughly speaking. You know me, I'm not the best timekeeper in all of the world. Thereabouts, starting at around 8, finishing at around 9, and with 3 approximately 20-minute sections there. Okay. Is Pete still going on about Chase? Come on, I think we can work together on this. I don't know. Have you had your meds today yet, Pete? Right. As well as our morning show, we'll be also continuing with our Tuesday evening online meetup, aka the Portugal Club, where the wider community of listeners can join some of the co-hosts in a more informal environment to compare notes, troubleshoot any challenges, and share significant milestones from their great Portuguese adventure. This sort of access and sharing is invaluable to newcomers and expat veterans alike who want some company and connection on a regular and easygoing basis. Tell us, James, what your experiences of the Tuesday night gathering. So we get, I mean, some of you might not even realize that, but on a Tuesday evening, we have a bit of a social, which is part of the package. If you're a supporter of what we do here at GMP VIP, that's all part of the package, as well as all the resources over at our school platform. Members of the Portugal Club can also access that, the GMP VIP private social network, beyond shows and between meetups, as another useful resource for information, inspiration, and support. So one way or another, I trust Good Morning is not only a positive and helpful start to your day, but also an enriching on-demand addition to living a fulfilling life in Portugal. At the outset of sharing all of this with you, I mentioned the possibility and potential of having your eyeballs on my ideas, and I'm sincere in that request. In many ways, the Breakfast Show is intended to be a public service broadcast at its best, and I do my utmost to make it useful without the necessary commerciality of structure or of our structure undermining our independence and objectivity. So it's quite a fine balance to call that, and it's best made by you, the consumers of this service, which I welcome. That input, should you wish to share any of it with me. So I don't know if that made any sense, but I'm trying to bring a public service to you without it being overly commercialized, but it does need to be commercial. You know, do need to make something of a living from this. This is my main thing, with all its affiliate connections and so on. And you'll get a sense of how you can support us from the homepage at the moment. If you scroll past the advent calendar, and we'll be opening the 24 window in just a moment, but you'll see all the ways by helping yourself, you can help us too, as the Good Morning Portugal business, if you like. But I want to get a balance right. I was writing yesterday about how clunky it is on a YouTube video when you've been played a little bit with a clickbaity title and somebody going, "My last day in Portugal," as a clickbait title. Oh, it was only my last day in Portugal before I went on holiday to Spain. And then while I'm here, and before we get started, could I just mention the VPN that you probably already have or don't really want? It's that kind of clunkiness that I know people have to do, but I don't want it to be like that every morning here on the Good Morning Portugal show. I think you understand the point I'm trying to make there is that we need to make a living. We need to keep our face clean, and we'd like to grow, but I don't want to be banging on about it all the time. So if you do want to support us, you can do that over on many of the ways that are serving suggestions on the homepage. The best and most basic compliment any of us who take part in the shows and share information can hope for is your attention. Beyond that, your comments and contributions really create a rich picture of collaboration and true community. So if you have tuned in and taken part this year, I thank and appreciate you and wish you the best of Christmases and the most fulfilling of New Year's. A greeting, of course, I also issue fondly to anyone who's read my work in the Portugal Resident as well. If you haven't dropped by yet, please join us in 2025, which will no doubt gather hype and hysteria-driven momentum like a time of year appropriate snowball. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? 2025. Let's face it. Let's base it as well. The we'll see year. I don't think anyone knows anything. There's such a great air of uncertainty, and I think people are going to freak out. People are going to respond in all kind of funny ways in this coming year. So I think we have to double down and work a little bit harder to be sane, safe, and soulful. So that is my wish. Come find us beyond the anxious noise and the shrill calls for your precious attention, where we'll be doing our best to do exactly that, offer the safe, sane, and soulful start to the day to make your days in Portugal as wonderful and fulfilling as you might dream them to be. Let's not forget our dreams. Let's not forget how great life actually is underneath all this noise and hysteria that seems to grow on a daily basis, while the world at large keeps spinning in its own crazy way. And I don't think there's anything we can do about that, folks, except to have a little bit of our own quiet community niche here on Good Morning Portugal as we continue into 2025. So thank you for letting me share that with you. You didn't have much choice. Obviously, but I hope that makes some sense as well. And we've got that film from Andy Klein after I've dealt with the last few of your comments here. Happy Kwanzaa. That's not a greeting I'm familiar with, but I'll take it anyway, unless it's some kind of veiled threat of some sort, Mr. S, which I'm sure it isn't. Merry Christmas, Nubian there. Thank you very much for being here this morning. I suspect it is late for you. What's going on here with Peter and James now? And a couple of links from Hugh as well. Thank you, Hugh, for those. Oh, I think we need to say hi to Marcus and Sandy, don't we? Hold on a minute. All right. So we're still talking about... I'll follow this up. Pete, I'm not just going to thrust chase upon you. And of course, if there are any claims that need clearing up, we'll do exactly that. We're here I say we're here every morning on that usual assumption, but we're not going to be here for a few mornings until the new year. But we'll pick up on that. Fear not, my friend. If there's anything to address there, it will get addressed. And I talk and share happy hectares on a goodwill basis, which is actually quite seasonal, isn't it? And I do like the idea of reforestation. I like the idea of planting trees, and I'm keen to support anyone who would be doing that. So I'll continue to do that, and if there's anything to clear up around that, the detail of it, let's do that as well. But let's be nice to our guests while they're on the screen as well. And snake oil is a little bit harsh, perhaps there. I have Marcus and Sandy and their son Benji, and a big hound, Kelter. I hope I've pronounced those correctly. They are staying with us over the weekend, introducing them to your channel. They live at Antuguia de Baleia. Marcus has a wine shop which only sells artisan and biodynamic and natural wines. Well, he must be on the show then at some point. Marcus, you'd be most welcome either to join us on the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club or just join us in the morning. Trouble is, it looks a bit, I do look too much of a lush when I'm tasting wine first thing in the morning. He will be in contact. That's fantastic, Marcus. Would love to talk to you about that. Referring to your further comments there, Pete, rest assured, I will get on top of that. And maybe we do need to introduce can you imagine that the last folly of Portuguese reforestation is to introduce the kangaroo and koala into the eucalyptus plantations. I don't think that's the direction we should go in there. Last few greetings. Thanks, Pam, for this. Thanks, Carl. It's a great resource. And of course, you need to make a living. All the best for you and the family in 2025. Thanks, Pam, for that. Okay. And thank you for that, Peter, as well. Chase, if you're still watching, simply going to the local agricultural union will give you the information, and it's available for free to everyone in the area. There you go. A little bit of a resource for you. And a poem, which I wasn't expecting this morning. Let me just restart the other computer, and I'll be able to read that if I bring that onto the screen. But let me see what I can do now to bring window 24 of the Advent calendar. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions to the Advent calendar this year. It's been a lot of fun making a meme-based Advent calendar. And our crowning glory for it today is the film made by Andy here, which I hope will stream okay. I'm doing a lot of new stuff on a new computer here. If I bring that onto the screen for you, and I might just include Owen's poem as well before we go, and I'll leave the I can play this. Here we go. I wonder if that's going to work all right. If I press that button there, is that going to work? Tell me if you can hear this.
In the land of Portugal, where the sun does shine, 8 long years have passed since I first arrived divine. Christmas time is here, oh so dear and so bright. Bells ringing, people singing with all their might. The streets are dressed in lights, a wondrous sight. A scent of traditional dishes fills the air so right. The sound of children's laughter and the joy it brings, it's a true gift that only Christmas rings. The bells continue to chime in the winter's breeze as families gather near in festive ease. The fireplace crackles with the warmth and light, a place of comfort on this cold and bright night. In Portugal, this Christmas time, the magic of the season is truly divine. So let us embrace this joyous time of the year and cherish the moments with those near. Merry Christmas.
There you go. I hope you heard that. And judging by the fact that there was nothing on the screen to say otherwise, you were able to enjoy that. A voice we know and love. That's Owen with your Christmas poem there. Thank you very much, Owen, for sending that to us. I'll put that onto our podcast with your permission, if you don't mind. So thank you very much. That's what we're all about here. Perfect, says Hugh. Thank you very much, Owen. I'd love to share that. A lot of people don't celebrate, says Mr. S. Beautiful, Owen, says Nubia Net. And Kwanzaa, she tells us, is an African-American celebration. Started the year I was born. Nice sentiment, but my family doesn't celebrate it directly. Right. Yeah. And just as a bit of a spoiler, I've taken the segment from our show last night, me and the Portuguese, about the true meaning of Christmas. And we got round to it, as I said, in the end. And I think what this time of year is about, and I think, of course, every celebration, festivity is optional, isn't it? But what I'm about to share with you, not the film, that's going to come in just a moment, but this idea that came out of my conversation with the Portuguese, Tony Bryant, last night, is of course an optional celebration, and it can be celebrated at any time of year. It's just that it's good to have a focal point, isn't it, where you have the chance to remember and be aware of things if you want to. It's not going to work terribly well if you make people celebrate. It doesn't work especially well if what you're celebrating you've lost touch with. And to me, from what Tony was saying when he told me the story of his firstborn son and how his wife, and they were in Denmark and she was about to give birth, and this is the beginning of the story, and you can go and listen to the whole story on my Facebook timeline. But they had a visit from 2 Danish police officers who asked to see her passport and then stamped in it, illegal, you must leave the country, or rejected, visa rejected, you need to leave within 7 days. This is just before Christmas. And then he goes on to tell me the rest of the story. And of course, it has a nativity ring to it, does it not? A baby at Christmas time. And as he was telling me this, what I realized was, and what I thought to be the true meaning and spirit of Christmas, is in the most difficult and challenging and lowly, that's a word that's used, isn't it, at this time of year and around the nativity, from loneliness, lowly, and from loneliness, and from darkness and coldness, and the most difficult and challenging things we can experience and be aware of human beings is born the capacity and the potential for the greatness that we can be and experience and share with each other as well. And that, to me, that is the Christmas spirit. That's the meaning of Christmas, is to be able to consider and ponder and maybe even bring to life those two things: the worst of what is possible in the human experience, and from it, how the greatest of what is possible can come from that background, from that context. Isn't that what the nativity is all about? And isn't that what we could celebrate at this time of year whilst we're reminded about it? Anyway, there you go. That's what I think it is. The whole story is on my Facebook timeline. Let's finish this morning. Thank you very much. Thanks, Chase. Thank you all for being here on this Christmas Eve. Today is a beautiful day to help another American couple from Illinois move to Viana do Castelo. All the best to you and them. Thank you very much for that. Bit of Tony time. This morning, Man in the Mino. Thanks so much, Carl. Happy Christmas to you all. Happy Christmas to you as well, Hugh, and to your guest there. Yeah, I'd love to have Marcus on the show. So, over to window 24 then on the Advent calendar. The memes are funny. They're up there at goodmorningportugal.com. It's only... I don't think there are any more sleeps till Christmas if you're an insomniac. I think that is my favorite one, window number 2. But they're all great in their own way. And to celebrate Christmas Eve right here, right now, is one and all aboard on the Vuga. I don't think it can be called an express, but it's definitely the Christmas special. This, a film by Andy Klein. Thanks, Andy, for this, and especially for you as window 24 on our Advent calendar. Let's hope it works. Have a great day, and we'll see you briefly tomorrow to exchange all those Christmas greetings on Christmas Day. Take care. Bye.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.